The Algona branch of the American Association of University Women, better known as AAUW, annually hosts a panel of women who are employed in STEM careers. Until the coronavirus pandemic, this was a face-to-face event honoring local 8th grade girls who excel in math and science, and their parents as well. In 2020, we simply canceled our event. In 2021, we decided to video the panel members so everyone can hear them on our AMU and MediaCom local channels. We wish to thank Mr. Brian Nelson and his students at Algona High School for making this possible. We have already honored the girls with certificates and with photos published in the Kossuth County Advance. However, we wish to honor them again now. Honorees for 2020, who are current freshmen in high school, include the following: from Bishop Garrigan, Abby Capacious, Violet Bodie, Ella Schaaf, Avery Lichter, Elena Salinas, Kyra Dykey. From Algona High School, Sarah Maudsley, Taylor Penning, Sydney Seebecker, Audrey Snyder, Ashlyn Waldera, Danica Van Gorkum, Rebecca Johansson, Jenna Weiland, Faith Zeller, Ashley Cantu, Samantha Frombach, and Morgan Kelly. For 2021, current 8th graders. From Algona Middle School, Olivia Lampy, Calypso McCann, Malin Davis, Haley Ruley, Hannah Severson, Evelyn Kramer, Emerson Waltz, Lainey Van Tyker, Casey Van Otterlou, Paige Schmidt, Caitlin Burns, and Evie Gunther. From Bishop Garrigan, Molly Peterson, Zoe Montag, Hannah Marin, Brooke Ludwig, Elena Borman, and Isabella Wachter. I'm Janie Montang. I'm the AAUW chair for the STEM event. It is now my privilege to introduce this year's panel of women who are working in STEM careers. From Kossuth Regional Health Center, Clinic Nurse Manager Peggy Jennings. From SUADAY, microbiologist Rebecca Marica. Also from KRHC, 2 acupuncturists, Rochelle Meschke and Elise Kern. And from Pharmacists Mutual, Allison Van Otterlou, who is a CPA and also Senior Vice President in Commercial Insurance.
Hello, my name is Peggy Jennings, Clinic Nurse Manager at Kossuth Regional Health Centers, Algona and Bancroft Clinics. Classes necessary for my job. In high school, you may want to consider anatomy and physiology if it's available, college credit. Also, psychology as well as health are really important. English skills are important as communication is a key part of nursing, and if you go to a higher level degree, there's a good amount of paper writing that goes along with that. Of course, science classes such as biology, chemistry, and physics would be important as well. In college, you will have social and behavioral sciences, nutrition, anatomy and physiology, chemistry, math, and English. The actual nursing curriculum will focus on health observation and assessment, anatomy and physiology, human development, medical ethics, and drug classifications and use. Of course, there are lab and clinical practice that goes along with that as well. What do I like most about my profession? I love being a nurse. It comes down to being compassionate and wanting to help people when they are ill, but also in keeping them well. Working in an ambulatory clinic, we see a lot of people for their yearly exams. I most enjoy the mental health aspect of nursing. It's always been of interest to me. I don't get to work directly with patients now that I'm in a manager role, and I do miss those interactions. Skills required for my job as a nurse manager: there is more time at a desk. I manage all the nurses at the clinic. I am their resource when questions arise. I do all the nurse scheduling. I do their evaluations. I write policies and help update those. I hire nurses and provide orientation and training. So Word and Excel knowledge is important. I provide monthly nursing staff development education. I assist the clinical director with annual budget duties. I manage supply needs, and we have a daily huddle that I lead. And I also participate in facility-wide work groups. So for an average day, I arrive at work between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning. I go through my daily ritual of checking emails and calendars for meetings. I have a planner that I use. I also have staff that will come during the day, and so just problem solving is a big thing. Typically I work in the office about 8 or 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. When did I discover this was the profession I wanted? So I remember very clearly when I was in the 7th grade, we had to pick a profession and write a paper about it. I chose to be an LPN. I never really gave any other profession another thought after that. I actually didn't start nursing school until I was in my 30s. I didn't think I could do it when I completed high school. I most certainly could have, so my advice to all of you is do not sell yourself short. You will have doubts on whether you can do it, but don't let fear of the unknown stop you from going after what you want, no matter what career path you choose.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Merica. I'm a microbiologist, and I work at Sude Health and Production. I've been there not even 2 years yet, but I wanted to tell you what I did before. I started working as a microbiologist at Sude. I was actually a college professor, and I taught microbiology and immunology in a microbiology undergraduate program, and I also taught medical students. So if you have any questions about what you're headed for, I'm assuming most of you are headed for college. I was a college advisor for 15, 20 years, so I can always help with some of the questions you might have. So what kind of classes did I take in high school in order to prepare to become a microbiologist? I took a lot of math and science, mostly because I really love math and science. I didn't know I was going to be a microbiologist when I was in high school, but luckily I had enough math and science as a high school student that when I got to college, I was kind of on the right path. And then, again, I continued taking a lot of math and science courses, biology, chemistry, physical sciences, and eventually I landed in microbiology. So I first got my bachelor's degree and then decided that I wanted to pursue a graduate degree, and I started a master's program. And when I was in my master's program, I kind of switched gears and I went from straight microbiology into immunology. So I got my master's degree, and then I shifted gears and I went into another field of microbiology, and that was immunology. So what do I like about my job? I like that as a scientist, as a microbiologist, it's a very active job. I don't sit a lot, and that's one thing I really like. I'm always solving problems. I'm always trying to streamline things. I'm always having to use, to be innovative, to come up with new ways of doing things. What I don't like about my job is, well, especially this past year, I was one of the few people that didn't get the opportunity to work remotely. Because I don't have a lab at home. So as a scientist, you need your lab, so you have to go to work. But there's really not a lot I don't like about the profession I'm in. Microbiology touches all aspects of our life, and so even if I'm not using it at work, I'm using it at home. It helps me understand things like how yogurt's made, or you know, why can't I get my puppy vaccinated when it was first born? Why do I have to wait 6 to 8 weeks? So it answers a lot of questions, and I really like that. To me, it's a superpower, being able to understand that particular science. Some of the skills I use a lot of basic microbiology skills, and some of these skills were developed almost 200 years ago. and I'm still using a lot of the techniques that Louis Pasteur, who's the father of microbiology, used. I also use a lot of different types of equipment, so it's important to be trained on certain types of equipment, but that all comes as you're being trained to be a microbiologist, because it is very much a lab-based science. There's a lot of lab classes that you do have to take. So an average day for me is I'm in the lab. I work with microbes that come from animals that I need to make vaccines for. Some of these microbes are really kind of fussy. I have to grow them in order to put them into veterinary vaccines. And so I have to come up with the right recipes to get them to grow. And then I have to figure out when they do grow, how many I have been able to grow. And then I have to formulate the vaccines, which then go back to the farms that are having problems with infectious disease caused by those same microbes. So it's actually a pretty satisfying job, knowing that I'm able to help farmers and help prevent disease, as opposed to the other option, which is using drugs to treat the disease. Okay, so I like the fact that I can help farmers prevent the disease and not have to use antibiotics. How did I know this was the profession for me? Well, actually, it took a while. I kind of bopped around quite a bit when I was figuring out what science I wanted to study. I knew I was going to be a scientist, but there's a lot of different options in science. But one thing that always kind of reminded me where my passion was when I was a kid. I read a biography on Louis Pasteur, who again is the father of microbiology, and he developed a vaccine for rabies, and he was actually able to save a young boy's life who had been bitten by a rabid dog. And to me, that was just the most amazing thing in the world, is that you could use the immune system to prevent disease. And so ultimately, I found myself studying microbiology, specifically immunology, and studying how vaccines work. It's been a very interesting and fascinating trip through science. And this past year, even though the pandemic has been devastating for a lot of people, it's been a very, very interesting experience for me, seeing how we have a disease or an infectious disease that's introduced into our population, and within a year, now we have a vaccine that can actually stop it. So.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Meschke, and I work at Kasuth Regional Health Center as a licensed acupuncturist.
And my name is Elise Kern, and I work at Kasuth Regional Health Center and am a licensed acupuncturist as well.
So for our job in high school, it's a lot of math and science. We also take any type of health careers class, and English classes are very important as well.
In college, you are required to do some undergraduate work. It's a good idea to be efficient in, biology, chemistry, microbiology, and other classes like that.
Also in college, you may take medical terminology. And then when you get into the actual acupuncture program, you end up taking both Western medical classes and Eastern medicine classes. So you learn both sides of medicine, including anatomy and physiology, neurology, cadaver labs. We have to learn the musculoskeletal system. We have to know where the nerves are. We also take some classes that teach communication, as communication is extremely important when we're talking with our clients.
Also, business classes are a good idea. A lot of acupuncturists do own their own business, so having some business experience is great too.
What we like about our job, there's not a lot that we don't like about our job. The best part is that we get to communicate with many different people that are facing many different ailments, and we get to help them feel better. We get to help them if they are ill or if they are not, or just keeping them healthy. We get to learn a lot from our patients as well.
We enjoy, working with patients, working with our hands, being involved with them. So a downside of our job is doing paperwork. No one likes to do that. Also, if we're having a certain condition or a patient that's not responding the way we want to, and we're not helping them like we would like to, it gets frustrating as well.
The other thing, especially with our job that's unique, is that we have a good relationship with our medical staff at the hospital. So we really enjoy working with them as well and getting different input on things if we do need suggestions for patients and or help with a patient. So sharing patients is great for our job as well.
Job skills that we are required, people skills, being able to talk to people. We are our own receptionists, so we're the ones answering the phones, scheduling appointments, as well as being able to talk to the patients and being able to treat them accordingly.
You have to have a level of empathy for your patients, and you have to be able to listen to them to know what they actually need. So you really, and then have those outsources on if they need more help, where can we send them, what can we do for them. So really knowing your community that you're in, knowing who your providers are, other practitioners in the area that you can send patients to if you cannot help them. So all of those skills are required for our job. Also, if you do your own books, you need to know how to do some basic math. If you do your own payroll, you need to know how to do that. So all of those classes come into play in high school and college. What do we do on an average day in our profession? We do everything that keeps our business running. Like we said, we answer the phones, we do our own emails, we talk to every patient that calls. We have to communicate with other medical staff and the upper management at the hospital. We have to type all of our own notes. We have to do insurance paperwork. Also, we have to come up with a treatment plan for our patients. And then convey that in our notes so that if a doctor or somebody else has to read those, they understand what we're saying. And we, depending on the type of business that you're in, some acupuncturists may work every day, some might work weekends. We work 3 days a week. We're in the office 8 to 5. Other acupuncturists may work 8 to 5 every day, some might work evenings. So it just all depends on what setting that an acupuncturist might be in.
But on average, we have fun during the day, and we both enjoy our jobs, and it's fun to come to work.
And when did I discover this is the profession I wanted? This profession took me a while to know that this is what I wanted to go into. I knew in high school I always wanted to be in the medical field, and I initially thought I wanted to go into pharmacy. So when I graduated high school, that was my path, and I started going into the pharmacy program, and I had taken the PCATs, and I was actually sitting in organic chemistry too, and just went, this isn't what I want to do at all. So fortunately, I come from a family that I have an uncle who's a chiropractor, another cousin who went into the chiropractic program, a massage therapist, and my other cousin who went into the acupuncture program, and that's how I got introduced to it. And I have to give credit to my cousin who actually got me started in the program, and it's exactly what I wanted to do.
And I didn't decide to go into acupuncture until I was in college. I was a pre-veterinary medicine student, so very science-based. I knew that was something I wanted to do, a direction I wanted to go. And it was probably my second year in. I just decided it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. So I found about acupuncture. I got to meet Rochelle, spend time with her working in the acupuncture clinic, and that's how I decided to go to school and pursue this career.
And my best advice is if you know you wanted to go into something science or medical or a STEM career, it's wonderful. But if you change your mind and you change your path, it's okay. Because sometimes we don't know until we get involved.
Hi, I'm Allison Van Otterlou. I work at Pharmacist Mutual Insurance Company. I'm the Senior Vice President of Commercial and Professional Insurance there. I'm actually a CPA, so I have a CPA background. I started my career in the CPA profession for about 13 years as an auditor, and then eventually moved into executive management at Pharmacist Mutual. Classes needed for my job. So any business classes that you can take in high school. I took my first accounting class in high school. So just anything that you can get business related, math related, communications, technology, anything like that. I would also encourage you to be involved in any type of extracurricular activities that you can. I really attribute a lot of my success in the business world to things that I learned as a high school athlete. You know, teamwork, communication, hard work, perseverance, positive thinking, all of those types of things that you develop in roles like that. So don't be afraid to be involved, even if you're maybe just a manager or just something like that. Don't be afraid to be involved in anything that you can get involved in. In college, I got my bachelor's degree in accounting and my master's degree in accounting, and then my CPA license after that. So if you're interested in a career in business, that's kind of where I started, was just knowing I wanted to be in the business world. Accounting is a great background for anything in the business profession because it teaches you how to read the numbers, how to understand what's going on with the data, teaches you problem solving, analytical skills, all types of things that can be transferred throughout the business world. What I like and don't like about my profession, I love my job right now. So I just started the role that I'm in. I just started it in March, so it's fairly new for me. But I love that I get to be involved in so many different things. My day is full of working with different teams on different projects. I might be in a meeting with my executive team, talking about strategy and projects we're working on, and market segments that we're trying to get into, technology that we're trying to advance, whatever that might be. I might be meeting with a member and talking to them about why their premium went up and how they're frustrated with that and having to explain that to them. I might be meeting with a vendor of ours or a partner of ours that writes insurance for us or connects us with members. So there's just so much variety. I get to spend time solving problems. I get to spend time helping people, leading people. I lead a team that has 63 people on that team, from underwriters to our operations staff to our member service staff. So just getting to work with a wide variety of people doing a wide variety of things. What I don't like about my job, when I was in the typical accounting world, there's a lot of stereotypes that you're sitting behind a computer and that's all you're doing, and that's totally not the way it is. I was an auditor, which means you sometimes are kind of the bad guy. You're the one pointing out where maybe they didn't do as well as they could have, so that can be challenging. In the role today, you're the one that has to make the final decision a lot of times, and there's moments I wish I could say, you make the decision and help me here. So you're the one that's making those decisions, and sometimes that can be a little bit challenging. Skills required for the job. So we talked about math, analytical skills, problem solving skills, but I would also add communication skills. I know that sounds really funny from an accounting person, but you spend so much time communicating, whether it might be with your coworkers, with customers, with clients, if you're doing tax work. So communication skills are key. Leadership skills. You're always going to be working with others, always working with teams, with other individuals. Leadership skills, technology skills. I spend a lot of time in Excel. The more time that you can spend learning a program like Excel or Word or PowerPoint, you'll use those things more than you can imagine. So even in high school, there's certifications you can get. Spend as much time in technology as you can because it's here to stay, and it's just going to become more and more of our lives. An average day for me, I kind of touched on this a little bit, but I spend most of my day in meetings. Sounds different than what you would think from an accounting professional, but I spend most of my days in meetings, whether it would be with a strategic team that maybe we're working on a specific project and we're trying to really problem solve and brainstorm and bring that project forward. I might be meeting with, like today I had a meeting with 2 gentlemen in Puerto Rico. We have an agency that sells insurance for us in Puerto Rico, and I had a touch base with them to understand what's working well, what could be better, what's the market like in there, is our product meeting the needs of the members they serve. So you just never know what you might be running into on a day-to-day basis. So it varies definitely, but I spend most of my time working with other people, analyzing information, analyzing data, problem solving, brainstorming, and just overall helping serve our members that we do in the insurance profession. When did I discover the profession I wanted to be in? I've been told that I am the weirdest CPA that people have met, and I take that as a compliment. I don't remember the moment when I decided to go into accounting. I knew I wanted to go into business. I took an accounting class in high school and I really liked it. I just really liked that there was structure and there were rules and things balanced at the end of the day, and all of that just felt good for me. I liked math. I went into then accounting at the University of Northern Iowa, and I just loved the program there. I loved the professors. It was very challenging. It was very rewarding at the same time. And then my first career right out of the chute was a financial auditor, and I could say I didn't even know what audit was when I went to college. I didn't even know that that was a part of accounting. So you just never know what you might discover along the way. My advice for you, if you're interested in a career in business or you see yourself in a business type role, accounting is a great place to start. It's a great background. I no longer work in a typical accounting role. I'm in more of an executive management role, and I might be the one person on the executive team that gets super excited each month when the financial statements come out, because I just love getting those numbers, and when my budget comes, I love getting those numbers. But I have kind of that benefit that I understand those numbers. I understand the story that it's telling me. I know how to make decisions based on that information. So it's a great background for any type of career that you might be interested in. And who knows, you might find yourself in a senior management role one day, being the one that's using those financial reports that you produced in your first job right out of college.
On behalf of American Association of University Women, thank you to our panel speakers this evening, Peggy, Rebecca, Rochelle, Elise, and Allison. Also, to Brian Nelson's television production class, and also to all of you for tuning in to watch and listen. Good night.